Welcome to the Private Practice Startup Podcast, where we help ambitious private practitioners across the globe to brand themselves and grow their dream practices. We chat with successful private practitioners, business coaches, and marketing experts, bringing you tons of practice building ninja tips. Visit privatepracticestartup.com for awesome resources, attorney-approved private practice paperwork, and our signature marketing e-course. Here are your co-hosts, Dr. Kate Campbell and Katie Lemieux.
Hey, Startup Nation. Welcome back to another episode of the Private Practice Startup Podcast. This is our first recording of 2021. We've made it, guys. We are now in 2021. How exciting is that? Hopes and good things on the horizon. And I always love our podcast guests, and it's always just such an honor to be here and share people's stories and talk about private practice and struggles and goals and triumphs. And today we have one of our alumni, Amber Joyce, talking about her success story in private practice. But before we do that, I want to make sure that you guys listened to last week's podcast, a really important one, and especially if you have the idea to outsource and grow your business this area. You're going to want to listen to Tony Matea from Wise Hire, where we talk about 6 tips for hiring people to grow your business. And if you're brand new to Startup Nation, we want to say welcome. We are welcoming you to our family. We've always been giving virtual hugs because we're a podcast, but also perfect for COVID times. And we have a gift for you. That is our customizable attorney-approved private practice HIPAA form. So like it or not, we all have to have paperwork. So go on over to privatepracticestartup.com, slide on over to the resources tab, and there you'll see it along with a bunch of other things. Let me share a little bit with you guys about Amber. Amber is a single mom of 3 energetic, compassionate, and wonderful boys. Amber is the owner of True You Brevard and is the founder of Adel's Hope. Amber is also the Space Coast NASW Chapter president. Welcome, Amber.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, we are excited. It is a pleasure.
It's awesome to have you on. And I know Startup Nation's really going to enjoy your story, as are we.
We always like to just kind of start with, just kind of taking a step back in time. How did you get into the field? Tell us your story, your journey.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I got into the field because of my own struggles. So I am recovered from anorexia and all kinds of eating disorder issues. And that's kind of what flung me into the field. And so I became a social worker, finished my master's degree in 2012, and then was working 2 jobs to finish my hours and got licensed in 2016. While having the 3 kids. So that was fun. And from there I moved down to Florida at the end of 2018 and continued working 2 jobs. And then towards the end of 2019, I think, is when I signed up for your guys' coaching course. And that was really what gave me kind of the push that I needed. So it was a pretty challenging time in my life. So you mentioned before that I'm the founder of Adel's Hope. During the process of taking your course, I lost my sister to an overdose. And so Adel's Hope is kind of the nonprofit that I'm working on in honor of her. Mm-hmm. And so I remember taking the course and being so excited for the first month or 2 and everything. And I'm kind of a perfectionist. So everything was on time and I was keeping up with everything. And then all of a sudden, everything just came crashing down and it was really challenging, but it was so nice because I was able to just kind of type that in the Facebook group and got so much support around it. And then everything was recorded and I could go back and play catch up. And, so was able to do that and kind of went through this okay, well, how do I do this and where do I go? And again, the Facebook group, you type in a little quick something and you guys are so good about responding. And then the whole group got my accountability buddies. We still actually meet sometimes.
I love that.
I know. Yes, that makes me so excited. I was just talking to our startup coach yesterday and she was talking about that. And I'm like, and some of our coaches still meet and it's been over a year. How cool is that?
Yeah. So we were meeting weekly. We've kind of weaned off of that a little bit, but there's 4 of us that get together and try to touch base and bounce ideas off of each other. And that has also just created so much support around moving this forward. So fast forward after going through all of that, and, sometimes it's just about like getting something up and not being such a perfectionist. I still feel like, okay, my website needs a lot of help, but I just haven't had time to do it, but at least it's out there. So let's see, October 31st was my last day at my full-time job. And so this was huge for me because I don't know if you caught on, but I have always been somebody that does a lot at the same time and always had two jobs. So I had started, I think, officially my business in May of this year, and moving out of my group practice. And so I was able to do part-time with that and start to build it up. And then October 31st, I ripped the Band-Aid off. And November 1st, I started full-time in my private practice. And by the end of November, I was full. Wow. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I mean like bursting at the seams full.
Wow.
So, and I was able to come off of one insurance at the beginning of this year. I just recently came off another insurance. I'm actually down to just 2 insurances that I'm taking. And that has been so liberating. I just terminated with a couple more clients this week. And instead of taking on the low paying insurance clients, I was able to get 2 full fee clients in their place.
Amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
As you're sharing this, I'm every time, and I'm sure Kate can agree, the same thing. I'm always shocked and surprised about the amazing successes that you guys have. I always get chills and I just get emotional. So this is really an honor for us to just hear your story and your successes. And, Amber, I'm blown away because you started your story in 2012. That's not even a decade ago. You're a single mom of 3. Your sister died during the course, so much. And all that you've accomplished in less than a decade is pretty amazing.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, I think, the other really cool thing is that, when I put the intention out there and started telling people that are in the field with me, telling family members, things started to fall into place. And then, so on November 1st, when I, went full time, I had a registered intern, which in the state of Florida, you guys know, is somebody who's finished their master's, who's working under me. And so I was like, okay, well, this is cool. I can make a little bit of passive income off of, I still provide supervision and all of that. And then all of a sudden I had 2 licensed clinicians, reach out and ask to work part-time with me. And I had another registered intern and then randomly a health coach, a life coach. And it was really cool because it was all of the things leading up to this was all these people I knew already. They had worked under me in my agency work. They had worked under me at other jobs. And when they heard that I was doing this, they kind of just came. And so now I'm actually in the process of expanding into a group practice. I went on the coaching website and typed in, hey, does anybody have a form for a 1099 contractor? And of course you guys had a template already done. So I got that. And so I have, I think 3 of the 4 new employees have signed that so far, and we are about to get them going.
I am so excited hearing this. I have goosebumps on goosebumps on goosebumps. Just hearing, with all of the challenges that have happened, and in the midst of a pandemic, no less, you opened up your private practice in May. You went full-time November 1st, and not even a month later, in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of the holidays, you were completely full. And here you are expanding and growing your group practice. This is so amazing.
It's so exciting. And I like working from home. So we're all telehealth. I've got the health coach is in Texas. One of the other therapists, I'm in Brevard County. One of the other therapists is in Orlando, which is Orange County. And so we're all spread out. And it's so awesome because when I have a break, I get to go out and be with my kids. Instead of, so and it's just they love it because, I'll open the office door and then they come running. And it's just that even in between clients, you get that 5-minute, this is great. And I will say that for the first time, I think ever in my life, I actually got a vacation, a true, real vacation with my kids this winter. So was able to take off took a half day on the 23rd, and I didn't return to the office until January 4th. And
that's amazing. I want to talk a little bit more about that, Amber, but before we do, let's just take a quick moment for our sponsor.
Is managing your practice stressing you out? Try Therapy Notes. It makes billing, notes, scheduling, and telehealth a whole lot easier. Check it out, and you will quickly see why it's rated the highest EHR on Trustpilot with over 1,000 verified customer reviews and an average customer rating of 4.9 or 5 stars. You'll notice the difference from the first day you sign up for the trial. They offer live phone support 7 days a week. So when you have questions, you can quickly reach someone who can help. You are never wasting time looking for answers. If you're coming from another EHR, they make the transition really easy. Therapy Notes will import your client's demographic data free of charge during your trial so you can get going right away. Use the promo code PPS to get your first 2 months for free, or try out Therapy Notes for free, no strings attached, including their very reliable telehealth platform. Make 2021 the best year yet with Therapy Notes.
Okay, guys, it's sponsor time. You know what? Instead of reading a script about Gusto's payroll and benefits, we wanted to tell you what small business owners say, the people who use Gusto every day. Here's what one small business owner says. With Gusto, I think of payroll as a 30-second job. The website is so friendly and a joy to use. Friendly payroll? You don't hear that every day. And how about Amy from Utah? Amy says, I love Gusto so much. It's so painless. It's like going to the spa, and we have great options and rates even though we're a super small team. Like going to the spa? Wow. And here's what Mneet says about Gusto's support team. Whenever something comes up, I reach out and literally 24 hours later, they tell us what to do or assure us that we've already handled it. Smart technology and friendly humans, that's super cool. Honestly, the list goes on, and right now our listeners get 3 months free when they go to gusto.com/PPS. Yep, 3 months of payroll, benefits, administration, and more, totally free. Again, that's gusto.com/PPS.
So what did you have to do to kind of prepare mentally and emotionally and then really give yourself the time off? Like, what was that experience, right? Like many of us, obviously, in the therapy world, we're used to giving, working, working. So what was that like for you?
One of the big things I think was, and you guys really hit on this, was the scarcity mindset. And I still find myself reapproaching that a lot. Obviously, I'm the sole income for my 3 kids and myself.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure to make sure that there's enough for my kids. But as I've leaned, I think, into that concept more and really done some work around it, it was about like, okay, I have enough. Like the clients are going to be there when I get back. And if I don't do this, I'm not going to have enough to give to the clients, and I'm not going to be able to continue the work that I'm doing. So there was a lot of work, possibly with my own like coach and therapist, and just kind of leaning into that whole like, okay, this is coming from a place of scarcity, and I don't need to be there anymore. And that was a huge part of letting go of the full-time job too. It was just, I don't need to kill myself to the point where I'm not home for my kids as a therapist. Like I can do better for myself, and I deserve better.
Nice.
What was that process like for you, letting go of that additional job that you've had for so long? It's kind of like this safety net, so to speak, but then when you look at the numbers of what you were bringing in there and what you're bringing in your practice, it becomes like this false sense of safety. It's like the false comfort zone that's really, it's hard to let go of. So I'm just curious, What was that experience like for you, letting go of that as the sole provider for your family, for your boys?
It was a slow process. It was scary. And I did it kind of methodically, to be honest, like in increments. Mm-hmm. So it was like, okay, well, I've got, 15 clients and I'm working full time. I can really take the leap, and I can, get new clients in November 1st, that first week, and have a full caseload then. I'll be honest, I think I went a little overboard with the number of clients. And so now I'm also in this process of like, I don't need to see this many clients a week. I can pare that back a little bit. So it was also some trial and error. I think it's like, okay, I jump in full force. That's just what I do. Like get in over my head, and then I have to swim out. And I think that's part of it is, there was some strategy behind it, but also kind of the ebb and flow of the process. And there's a lot of self-awareness, I think, that has to go into it as well. And I think that having the accountability buddies, having my own therapist, having the course that I could go back to and listen to some of what you guys did in the coaching has all been a part of that process, to kind of like find that balance. And then also just, for me, it was coming off insurance slowly because I needed that safety net, I think. And so now it's like, okay, I can let go of that safety net slowly also. I think that's kind of for me.
I got a question for you, Amber, but I just want to take another moment for our sponsor.
How many times have you responded to a client on Psychology Today only to hear that they contacted 20 other providers so they won't work with you? It's frustrating. The truth is that white pages style directories leave both clients and counselors feeling burned. We want to make therapy better for everyone involved, and that's why we made Thrivelution. Thrivelution is a revolutionary matching system based on the idea that therapy is most effective when the match between therapist and client is high quality. We provide your practice with quality, low-cost client referrals that are matched with you and only you in seconds. If you're ready to get more clients, sign up with our exclusive promo code for 1 month free of matches at thrivelution.com. The promo code is MATCH21. That's MATCH21 at thrivelution.com.
As we do these podcasts on success stories, again, they're just deeply gratifying for us just to hear your guys' success and what you've creating and really in a very quick amount of time. I want to, for those people who are just kind of like wondering, because I see a lot of people stuck in the DIY mentality, right? I'll just watch all the videos. I'll ask all the friends. I'll listen to all of the advice. I'll try to do all of the things. I won't invest. What would you say to them about, like you talk about your team, your accountability? What would you say to them?
I think I was one of those people for a long time, and I still kind of grapple with that. Actually, my sister's in marketing, and I had a long conversation with her this weekend about, okay, what do I need to outsource and what can I do?
Yes.
And really being strategic. So like not only using my accountability buddies and my therapist, but like the people in my life that know those areas really well. The investment I made in your guys' coaching course was, I think, the first time I really like put a good amount of investment in myself and took that first step. And I think that I would say to people listening, like, do something for you, like invest in yourself, because it's hard to do things on your own all the time. And actually right before I got on this, I was on a consultation with an SEO group that's going to do SEO on my website because I don't have time, and I know nothing about that. And for me to take the time to learn it, it's going to take away from time with my kids.
Absolutely.
And it's just going to drive me crazy. And so it's been, again, this process for me. And I guess I would say it's okay if it's a process, but take that first step.
Yeah. And it's always so interesting to me. And I know I definitely struggle with that too for so long. And I think my comment to Kate in our meeting on Monday was, I just want to be the queen of outsourcing. And I think that's like a testament of the amount of work that it's taken to be able to get to where, we are today in regards to what we do. But, we would never hesitate thinking about like bringing our car to a mechanic or seeking a doctor when we need help. But we don't, in business, it's funny because we default to, I'll be the SEO person and the graphic designer and the accountant. And it's just an interesting thing as an entrepreneur. Like, I got to figure it all out. But the reality is I am always deeply inspired by when we do hire the right people or outsource it to people who do great work. They do it better than us, and it's kind of like liberating to be like, oh my gosh. And then Kate and I have this experience. It's like, great, let's give them more. Let's take this off our plate and focus really on the things that truly matter and the things that we're most inspired by and most talented with. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah. And Amber hit that on the nail on the head earlier. She was saying about how it gives you the freedom to be able to spend that time with your kids. I'm just wondering, what does it mean to you to be able to finally have that time and prioritize your time with them? You just came off of a week and a half long vacation where you were fully present. So what does that mean to you?
I don't know that there's any words that I could really put around that. Like I know people can't see me, but I'm almost in tears, I think. And I think that's what it means to me. It's like, it's so priceless to be able to just like put my phone down and leave my computer in my office and go and spend time with them. And it's so needed, and it's cool to be able to do that. And so I don't really have words for it, to be honest.
Did you think that was possible for you?
No. And it took a lot of work. I mean, I think I was sharing earlier, like I was the kind of person where, okay, well, I'll take off from this job but I'll still have the safety net of the income from the other job, or vice versa. And so, well, I'll have 8 hours free with my kids this day, but then after that, I'll go to work. And it was this like constant juggling. So, I mean, it takes a lot of work on yourself, I think, also because of, the habits that you get into and the mindsets that you get into as a person. At least it did for me. And so just the whole concept of like thinking about, well, what would it be like to have a week and a half off? Like, and then kind of moving with that and, well, okay, how do I make that happen?
Nice. I'm just thinking a lot about what you're talking about because, all of the things that I've read, the coaching, business really is mainly mindset and a smaller portion strategy, but we often think it's the other way around and we're often looking for the strategy. Strategy is obviously important, but mindset is so important. And I remember, I don't have this anymore, but let's face it, I've been in business now for a decade and creating my third business. I remember for years, I struggled with the idea of if I'm not doing a work-related activity, I am not getting paid, right? Because the hours for dollars mentality. It took me years to realize like I could be doing idea work or not work or whatever, and I'm still getting paid and paid more than I was. And so that was a really hard thing for me to overcome because I'm a doer by nature, still am. But yeah, that was definitely a mindset shift for myself and being able to do that. And I'm sure people are wondering, like, I know that people who like are single or married who don't have kids or do have some type of support, it's still hard for them to leave their full-time job. Here you are, single mom of 3 boys, sole income provider. What was that like to deal and manage with all of that mindset stuff?
I think that's honestly what kept me stuck for so long. And also more so, I mean, my personality is methodical and thought out. And so there's that aspect of it. But because I had that pressure of the kids, that it had to be very methodical and kind of more safe for myself. And so it was super overwhelming at first. And then as you kind of lean into that a little bit, and it's kind of like almost exposure work. I think honestly, as I think of it, it's kind of like this whole journey has been a little bit more exposure, and then like acclimating to it and like, oh, this isn't that bad. This is actually great. So, I think that fear doesn't go away 100%. And at some point, I think for me, it was, am I willing to give up some of what I have to get more with my kids? And at the end of the day, the answer for me was, if that's what I need to do, then yes. And so I came to a place of, even if I can't do everything I'm doing right now with 2 jobs, with just my private practice, I'm willing to give up some of that to get the time with my kids. And in the end, I haven't had to. But I think there was that like coming to be okay with, like, okay, if this doesn't go the way I want it to, is it still going to be okay for me? And ultimately, yeah, it was going to be okay. And it's great now.
Nice. Is there anything that we haven't talked about as part of your story that you want to highlight or share?
No, I just want to say thank you to you guys. Because I don't know that I could have gotten out of the mindset had I not invested in your guys' course.
Oh, thank you, Amber. And obviously you're the one doing the work. We're just holding the space and creating it, but you're the one doing the work.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell us a little.
I want to cry. This whole podcast, I just feel like I have goosebumps, and then I just feel like it's so emotional. Your story is just so beautiful and very powerful, and I hope those listening, feel inspired by it, because it's just amazing when you do the mindset work and you're clear on the life that you want to create for you and for your family and the legacy that you're giving your boys. It's just, and the impact you're making on the community and staying in alignment with your passion. It's just amazing. I love it.
Well, it's really cool also now to be able to like spread that to the people that are starting to work with me as part of the practice too. Like they come in and I'm like, well, let's look at, what do you want to charge? What do you need to charge? What do you need to make? Like, let's look at that. And being able to kind of share that and with other people and empower other people to also kind of take control of their lives a little bit.
Yeah, I know that's what inspires Kate and I, is that ripple effect is like touching one or touching many to touch many more. And that's beautiful. And thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. And you have the course at your hand, so you can share that course with them, and everything that you've learned, like, please teach them for sure. Tell us a little bit about Adel's Hope and your sister.
So Adel died of an overdose in October of last year. And so my full-time job previously was overseeing the state for a substance use company. And in that process, I made a lot of connections within the state. And it was just one of those things that was meant to be. I've connected a lot with peer recovery specialists who have lived experience in addiction. And as I was going through all this, I'm like, this is my making meaning. So this is my making meaning of it. And so I'm in the process right now of forming the nonprofit. I have an amazing board of directors that are 185% behind it. And it's going to be mainly peer-led initially, and peer recovery services. And we're looking at trying to get some recovery community centers started on the East Coast, kind of central, east, and north Florida, from kind of like Brevard County up to like Duval County, and really provide that recovery support for the individual, but also for the family, because addiction is such a disease that oftentimes it is generational, but it also can, even if it's just one person, impact the entire family. And recovery from addiction, there's so many barriers, because we can get into like the criminal charges and the backgrounds and all of that. And now you're looking at poverty and housing and all this stuff. And so got a great team working together to look at grant funding and other ways to create revenues. We've done some fundraising, so we're able to cover the cost of the startup. And I'm actually meeting this weekend to fill out all the paperwork and turn it in to create the nonprofit. So it's really, really exciting. Yeah.
That's amazing. Congratulations. Yeah. And I look forward to, as things evolve with that, to see the growth of it and what it is evolving into.
Absolutely. Me too.
And Amber, before we wrap up today, a lot of times we ask, what is like one marketing strategy that you do that really works well?
Authenticity.
Talk a little more about that.
I think it's just being who you are. And in the way that you talk, in the way that you interact with people, in the way that you present yourself in the world, even when you're not marketing. When you're authentically you're creating a brand that is true to you, and you're able to attract the people that want to work with you. And it makes your job more enjoyable, because you're kind of living in alignment with who you are. and you're working with the people that work well with you.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And as I hear you talk about that, I kind of think I remember Marla Berger when we were first doing some coaching. And often this happens with a lot of our coachees is like, we're on like the first module, right? And talking also about vision and mission. And as people begin to streamline and get clear, like literally no one is doing any strategies, right? And like the referrals that just get coming in, it's because it's like that vibration out there is clear of like who you're attracting, and you just attract that person into your life. And so I love that you share that. And that's such like a great like podcast authenticity as a marketing strategy. Like let's podcast, whatever it is. Yeah, it's so like perfect. Like I think that would be like Awesome. Amber, what do you want people to take away from your message today?
Invest in you and just go do it. Find what is important and make your life align with it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I mean, I feel like these are more for Kate and I. Like, I feel selfish always having these beautiful success stories because they're just amazing to hear you guys, and then also like be able to connect with you guys, 6 months, a year, whatever it is later, just to see where you are. So thank you so much for being here with us, and congrats on everything you've achieved. And we are cheering you on for all your continued success, and keep us updated for sure. Startup Nation, we hope that you guys join us next week as we have a very fun and special podcast. We invite Casey Compton back, the millionaire practice builder, and one of our faves, and probably yours, Mike Michalowicz. So Casey is releasing a book in July. Mike created a book called Fix This Next, and Casey created a book called Fix This Next for healthcare practitioners. So they'll both be joining us next week. It's going to be a ton of fun, and we hope that you guys listen to that episode, and I know that you'll enjoy it.
Fun stuff. Amber, it was so good to see you. It's just an honor to have you on the podcast and to hear your story and be a part of your life. I mean, it's the impact that you're having and the ability to just experience life to the fullest with your family is so beautiful to see. So thank you for being here. And Startup Nation, we hope you're enjoying these episodes as much as we are. And it's so great to be able to have an opportunity to hear the stories of fellow clinicians who are in the trenches right there alongside you to show you what's possible and to give hope and inspiration and ideas and all of that good stuff. So if you're enjoying these podcasts, definitely let us know. We invite you to subscribe, rate, and review our show. You can do so on our website on the show notes pages at privatepracticestartup.com. And we always love to hear from you when we get messages about a particular podcast that stood out, or if you have an idea about an episode that you would love to be featured on that hasn't been on our show yet, we'd love to hear that too. So definitely check out with us. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Take care, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining us on The Private Practice Startup. Visit theprivatepracticestartup.com for awesome resources, free trainings, attorney-approved private practice paperwork, and so much more.